Though my gas tank may be close to empty, my gas tank, in terms of how many carbs and glycogen I've got floating around in all my muscular, I don't know what you'd call it. Let's just say, my fucking muscles. All I'm trying to get at is I'm nice and carbed up. Carbed up, hydrated. I just woke up from a 2-hour nap. Not that a nap is going to make you necessarily well rested, but if you're sleepy, you got to do something. So 4:41 on the dot. It's now time for back. So back, I doubt the gym's going to be very packed right now, but I don't know. It's the weirdest hours that have the most people. But what are the odds that everybody's going to do back? Probably pretty low. But let's say it even is packed. What are you going to do? Just pick a new movement. If you're waiting for one specific back machine, I'd say back is the body part which I'm most spoiled on. Because I'm pretty much fine doing anything. Like I'll be picky. Sometimes I'll pick like a certain movement, like, okay, I want to do pull downs first, or I want to do machine rows. But there's just, like, think about it like this. There's only so many ways to go about hitting, chest. If you don't have like an incline bench, you're shit out of luck, right? I would not want to do a push-up fucking chest day. But with back, dude, cables, you give me one cable stack with a moderately heavy stack, that's a complete back day right there. Seated pull downs, one arm, seated rows, pullovers. If everything's taken, just grab a dumbbell. I feel like that's the perfect approach. Every machine is completely taken. Let's say for whatever reason you're in a packed gym. Let's say it's Arnold weekend and you're trying to lift anywhere in the vicinity of like Columbus. Oof, let's say you're hitting back, man. You are not going to have a good time. But remember, just cut it down to basics. Pick up something heavy and just start moving it around. So really all I'm trying to say is back, I can do pull downs, or rows, or pullovers, and at least as of late, I haven't found a particular order which I think really does it for me and gives me like a way better back workout than any other. Like back has a few basic movements: pull downs, rows, and pullovers. Chest has a few basic movements, right? Pressing and flies, and you can kind of combine them into like a fly press, but those are pretty much it. Now with chest, I'm more likely than not, just look back at all the chest days, not one of them has ever started with pec deck. I always start with heavy pressing. So for chest, heavy pressing first, followed by flies. That's my I almost honked at that guy. They were waiting a little too long on that green light. But with chest, that's sort of my formula, and it fucking works. But I can do a back day where I do heavy rows first, and then pull downs, and then lighter pullovers. Good back pump. I feel nice and fatigued, like I did some work, and I seem to have gotten some results over time. Or I could do them where I do pullovers really light, like not super light, but a relatively lighter movement, and just really burn, and then move on to rows or pull downs sort of after, like, methodically pre-exhausting my lats, and that still fucking works fine. So I'm sure everyone has one muscle group at least where, as long as they hit it hard, you don't have to be super diligent with the exact movements and exact exercise order in which you do it. I kind of feel the same way about biceps. For me, in terms of my arms, I've got a little bit more gifted biceps than triceps. So I can sit here and do like light squeezing curls first, followed by fucking, whatever else. Or start with really heavy dumbbell curls. And it's like, as long as I do 7 or 8 good hard sets of curls, shit ends up fucking happening. So I guess that's not the coolest way to say it. It's like, yeah, I want to build a huge back. I'll just come in and do whatever. But even though there is a kind of a nonchalance with the exercise selections, once I do pick one, right, lock in the zone, make it a really hard set. Right now, I think, well, I was about to say you should do your sets hard, as though that wasn't something, as though that was something that actually even needed to be said. No, we get it. So this will be pull downs, rows, pullovers. Maybe I'll try to add something I haven't done for a while. That's always a good habit to be in, to every so often try to remember a movement that you haven't done, or maybe look around for a machine that you haven't used for a while, because maybe you're missing something. Even if, I'll have some machines where on first attempt I do not like it at all. Like, I'll try some flies or some rows, and the first few sets that I've ever done on the machine, I'm like, I don't really care for this. Move on, never do it again. But a few months pass, maybe it'll feel good by then. It's not like every movement is gonna feel the exact same every day. Sometimes, for whatever reason, lat pull downs, you feel like you can squeeze at the bottom like a fucking hydraulic press. And then other times with some machine rows, I could do 2 hard sets and I don't really feel like I'm getting any, well, obviously I'm doing work, but I don't really feel like I'm adding to the pump. And that's kind of the criteria which I sort of judge my sets on. But enough of this chit chat. Let's just go park. I'm already getting little tingles in my cheeks. I can tell some shit's going down with the pre. Let's get fucking started. Hard to beat a classic pull down. And I'm not even going to start that heavy. I think it's not a terrible habit, but I do have a habit of trying to go as heavy as possible on the first set. So instead of trying to do the stack, I'll actually be a little more moderate and really burn at the bottom of these reps and squeeze. Because, look, a hard, heavy set with back, it does do it for me. I do like it, but I always get a better pump, at least finishing the workout with lighter squeezing reps. So maybe I'll try to start this back day with those today. Okay. One more, just like that. All right, start over. Yeah, exactly. 5 more. Last one. Oh my God.
I was struggling more than you.
That was really good. That didn't even feel like I was moving the weight. Yeah, that's enough here.
To where?
That's fucking, whoops. Let's move on to something else. Again, getting some assisted reps from my, this guy would break my arm if we arm wrestled. Mr. David. And I'm not even joking. But I'll do however many reps I can do on my own, pretty much touch my hips, thrust the machine. But once I'm kind of doing a few partials, I'm going to ask for help and get like 10 assisted reps. I've done sets here before where I just hit failure on my own. And then I did one set to failure solo, but then the next set I had somebody help me. Night and day. The fatigue that I felt from that set with the assisted reps was as though I did 3 of the solo sets in one, if you sort of catch what I'm getting at. Yeah, exactly. One more. Okay. This is way too light.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit too strong for the pullover machine right now. And I'm not saying that like, oh, I'm too strong for the machine. But I mean, literally, the stack is just not enough. Like, I don't want to do a 30 rep set. That's sort of pushing the envelope in terms of the reps. I'd rather be weak enough where I have to get assistance at like rep 10 or rep 15. So I might come back to the pullover machine, but now I'm gonna do this heavy row. A lot of the times, these sort of intricate machines I don't love. Like, you got to think, if you just took a, you know, a hammer strength machine with plates, usually I like that more because there's a lot of shit going on here. I mean, these handles are both going their own way. They're kind of all connected by wires. I don't know. I feel like a fucking old man. I'm like, why does this shit have to be so complicated now? But yeah, I do kind of, it's not like I'm an equipment designer, but a lot of the times, the more intricate a machine is, the less I like it. But I do like this one, so I guess that's kind of a contradiction. Okay. That's a good set, but I don't want to do another. It feels kind of weird. Let's do something else. No matter what, it's going to be a hard set. I feel like that doesn't even need mention. Okay, now let's move on. Back to pull downs. That's kind of like a two-part set, like controlled in the beginning, and more swinging at the end. I don't know what I want to finish with. I'll figure something out for sure. Okay, so the cable, well, I want to do some single arm cable rows, but the cable is so long, like there's no range of motion, there's no stretch. And I'm not fucking 7 feet tall. So I'm going to stand on a little steppy stool here, make this a good set. So this isn't like insane amount of weight. This isn't like a cable stack, full stack row, but it is enough weight. When I seriously squeeze at the top, I am gonna fucking feel it for sure. Yeah, that feels pretty good. Okay. I don't really want to do one more of these either. I got bad luck with exercise selections today. Like my back is fucking pumped. I only need one more set of something. But I haven't, apart from pull downs, I haven't really done a set and said, holy shit, that felt awesome. Which, I mean, I'm fatigued and pumped, so not really any real reason to complain. Just more of an observation. But let's find one more finisher, then go fucking pose down. All right, let's just finish off with Old Faithful single-sided table pullovers. And instead of doing like my whole right side and then my whole left side, I'll kind of do an alternating style, which sometimes I like doing these for quads, hamstrings, but, well, mainly quads. So I'm gonna do 5 reps of pullovers with the right arm, immediately switch to the left, and then immediately to the right, immediately back and forth until I'm totally fatigued. I just kind of like it, because you gotta remember, in a way, well, of course it literally is a rest pause set, but when I'm doing these 5 reps on the right side, the left side's getting a little rest. So something about it, I feel like it just lets me get a few or a little bit more volume in the last set and just totally pump up, well, not my whole back, but my lats. So let's finish this and go pose down. Weight, not insane either, only 30 pounds. Okay, one more. Okay. Yeah, we're done. All right, so this was subjectively, like just kind of based on my, well, the sets all felt good, and I was getting a solid burn on all of them. But something about the mid-set sensation I was getting, didn't love it. Like the pull downs felt really good, but some of those rows, honestly, I wasn't really getting the squeeze factor that I wanted. But still, hard sets, pumped, fatigued, checked off all the boxes. You know, some lifts just feel crazier than others, I guess. So let's see what kind of back pump resulted. Actually, let's get a through the shirt lat spread first. And you tell me how freaky we're looking. Okay, that feels pretty fucking good. there's kind of a, I don't know. I guess you just have to have a crazy lat pump to get what I'm saying. When when your arms are totally pumped, you can literally feel they are because you can't fucking touch your shoulder anymore. When your chest is pumped, you're kind of tight. You can't really reach back. But your back being pumped, it's just a slightly different sensation. But who cares about how it feels? Let's see how it fucking looks. Oh my god. Yeah. So morning weight this morning was 253, 260, and so when I say, let's just pose down first, then we'll talk about it. Oh my goodness. That's the same thing from the back. Oh my goodness. All right, no. So what I was trying to say was, fuck. What was I trying to say? Oh yeah. So when it comes to your body weight, look, there's one time during the day which you should hop on the scale, see a number, and have that number actually mean something. And that is when you wake up after you go to the bathroom without eating or drinking anything. So your morning weight after taking a dump and getting all your pee out of you, that is what I consider your real weight. Later in the day, once you've been eating a ton of food and drinking a ton of fucking water and whatever, your weight is going to inflate just because, you're literally putting mass into your body, So if you weigh 250 at 9 o'clock at night after you've eaten a ton of fucking food, how much of that weight is really even body weight? Most of it is just going to be the food that you ate. Not most, but, in the morning after you go to the bathroom, you could be 240. I mean, on a big day of eating, I could wake up at whatever weight. Let's say I'm a little bit dehydrated too. So I could wake up at, let's say I had no food today and I didn't drink a lot of water. I could wake up tomorrow at like 245. And over the course of that whole day of eating and drinking food, I could get back up to like 255 just from having a ton of extra water and literal just fucking food in my system. So if you weigh yourself and you're like, yo, I'm finally 200, but you weighed yourself like late at night at the gym with your shoes on, dude, you got some more mass to add on. You're not totally there yet, right? Wake up in the morning, get all that shit out of you, and then hop on the scale. If you're 200 then, that's when it counts. So plan now is fucking chill a little bit. There's a few dudes here I know, so I'll probably chat with them for a little while before I leave. Then go eat some fucking food, man. I think I know for a fact that this is my best bulk ever, because this soon into it, without even really pushing the food too hard, I'm already 253, which was the max weight I was really at on the last bulk. So, 260 in sight, but I think part of it is because this bulk, I eased into it calorie-wise. What I've been doing in the past is I jump straight to like fucking 5,000 calories. And after 2 months, I just can't eat any more fucking food. I overloaded my system too quick. So that was a change I made for this bulk, which I think is fucking working. So the fact that the first few months were pretty easy, like I wasn't really pushing the food, this bulk may end up being the longest one ever. And the last one was like 230 fucking days. So, hey man, if I'm still gaining weight, I don't care if the bulk has to be 1,000 days. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's all I got. Lift done. I'm ready to fucking eat. Not sure what, but I can guarantee it's going to consist of at least 200 grams of carbs, 50 grams of protein, and maybe 40 grams of fat. That sounds about right based on my hunger level as a meal. But let's roll. You know, I gotta take back what I fucking said about that not being like an awesome back day. Sure, maybe the sets felt a little different than normal. Like I can't even like articulate the way that it felt. Like the sets just weren't as nuts as they could have been, I think, is all I'm trying to say. But sitting in the car now, fucking, I can, I can feel literally that my torso is further from the seat than usual because my back is so fucking, pumped up and swollen, which very good sign. So now all I gotta do is go home and chill. One of my buddies sent me a buy one get one free Subway footlong DoorDash code, so I've got 2 turkey subs waiting for me. Now, not necessarily the most highly calorically dense meal, but I do just like them. And a foot long with the bread, it's about 80 grams of carbs each. You know, maybe in both of them, probably 30 grams of protein. I mean, it is kind of like deli turkey Subway protein, so not as good as like a beef or something, but kind of just like that as a treat. Not even though a lot of the times I talk about the food that I'm eating and I'm like, okay, I'm gonna eat this because it has a ton of calories. It's really fucking calorically dense. It's that's not the whole point every time, right? If you're trying to bulk up, you've got to eat food that you like to eat. So if you've got a thing for a fucking, I don't even know, like Meyer blueberry muffins, and you can eat 450 calorie muffins at once in one fucking sitting, then hey man, that's an extra 1,600 calories. Actually, 1,800. That is a big fucking chunk. So I say go for it. But still, that doesn't mean you can only eat treats. Right? Obviously, I talk a lot of treats. Like today, I had like 300 grams of carbs worth of like fruit snacks and like, or no, 200 grams. Before I went to class, I stopped at the vending machine. I got like a sour gummy candy bag and then some fruit snacks. So like 180 grams of carbs of sweets, just straight up sugar. But don't be too fooled. Not everything is treats. Right? I'm still getting my rice and some potatoes and steaks. Honestly, I've really been trying to bias red meat as my protein source. That's one thing I noticed when I was dieting down during the last cut. I was doing a lot of steaks, a lot of like top rounds, kind of lean cuts, and I just felt fucking good. I keep saying this. It's not like I'm going full on Liver King carnivore, but I think the red meat dudes know what they're talking about. So if that's you, I say, or if you haven't been getting too much red meat in your daily day, I say add some. And I'm not talking 3 pounds like a fucking nut. 8 ounces, half pound of ground beef. It'll go down like nothing. And honestly, I think you're gonna legitimately feel better from it. So I need to stop and get gas. We'll just continue the car talk while I fucking sit in here. But tomorrow the plan is gonna be arms. So the pressure's off in a way. For me, with a leg day or a chest day, I do kind of put a lot of emphasis in the preparation. Like if I don't get a good night's rest before a chest day or before a like a fucking leg day, I am gonna feel it. My performance is literally gonna fucking suffer. But with arms, I've had lifts where I got negative fucking sleep. Like, well, not negative, but I was just irresponsible with my time. And like maybe I got a couple of hours. But as long as I was still fed and hydrated, it still ends up being a good lift. Just because it's kind of a small fucking muscle group. Like when it comes to fucking like shoulders too, or calves, like smaller muscle groups, I'm just not so concerned with being absolutely full of carbs and everything else, just because I can get a pump anyway. And that's not to say that I'm like, oh, tomorrow's an arm day, I'm gonna take the pressure off and just chill. But it is just kind of nice to have a lift like that where you're kind of targeting all smaller muscle groups, just because it's almost a break in a way. Like a leg day is taxing not only for just my quads and my hamstrings, but really for just my whole system. Like, I'm going to be tired afterwards. But an arm day, look, I'm not going to say it's like a full-on rest day, but it's definitely an easier day. So that is one thing I kind of like about my split now, because I used to do legs, chest, and back, and then arms and shoulders. So it was very dense. Like, every workout was, I think, a little bit too much. Legs is already fucking hard. Chest and back, I really think that's too much. I'm not you. You do whatever you want. But after I do chest, the chest workout portion is really good. But once I move on to back, I'm already like, the back pump just isn't there. I think chest and back are just two muscles that are too big to be hit together, at least super hard. You know, if you're just doing kind of a, well, why would you ever want to do a maintenance workout? Right? We're trying to grow. But I think it's just too much. And then arms and shoulders on the same day. Sure, the sets aren't necessarily as intense because they're smaller muscle groups, but it's a ton of fucking volume because, you know, if I do arms and shoulders on the same day, dude, that's like fucking, we're getting up into like 20 working sets at least, maybe even a little more. So that's sort of why now I really like the split that I've been on, to the point where I don't really foresee changing it anytime fucking soon. You know, so legs, chest, back, arms. It's, at least for me, a steady enough output of energy where I can do it consistently, right? Look, I do believe you could probably work out too much, right, to the point where it's beyond recovery. But if you're only doing, you know, a few muscle groups at a time, I think that's going to be a bit more difficult. Like for me, if I were to go to the gym and do a full-on leg workout and then try to do arms too, or I don't know, like do like a full fucking body workout, if I hit everything and I was in the gym for like 5 hours, yeah, I'm probably not going to be recovered the next day because I just did too much damage. But that damage is only so bad because it's like systemic. I think if you completely obliterate one or two muscle groups, sure, they're going to be sore the next day. You're going to feel it. But, you know, the day after I hit legs, even though my legs are still fucking on fire, like jumping out of bed in the morning, I can tell I'm fatigued and weak. My chest is still kind of fresh. You know? So just because, I'm trying to think of an analogy here. Really all I'm trying to say is just because your legs are destroyed doesn't mean that your chest can't be worked. So for me, legs, chest, back, arms, repeat. That's just how I roll. That's a low enough, let's just call it fatigue lift for each day, where I can come back the next day and still have a good lift on a maintainable basis. So if you finish your 3-day split, like let's say you're doing a push-pull legs, and the day after legs, like you did a push workout, you did a pull workout, and then you did legs. If the day after your legs are still sore to the point where you really don't think it's going to be effective to actually work them, then take a rest day. Look, I don't say take no rest days, right? If you're actually sore, it doesn't make any fucking sense to work out that muscle. It still needs recovered. But if after that, you know, 3-day loop where you do push pull legs, if that day, which, you know, could be a push day, your chest feels good, your triceps feel good, your shoulders feel good, you know, I say hit it. Honestly, I think a lot of people take unnecessary rest days just because, you know, people tell them to, and you don't want to, you know, try shit out for yourself. But then again, this is coming from the perspective of somebody who's like a total gym addict. So, of course, I'm probably going to say that I want to be in the gym all the time. So, take that into perspective. Not just with me, but any kind of like workout videos, or, I mean, really any fucking video in general. You know, you got to remember, everybody sort of has underlying biases, or, you know, real fucking biases when they're saying shit and posting it online. Oh my goodness. In terms of just being fucking, you know, kind of aware of what's going on. Right? Don't listen to anything too well, not too intently, but don't take everything as fucking fact, right? You gotta remember, a lot of shit that gets said out in the world is orchestrated, right? Don't you think it's kind of weird that every news outlet, anytime there's like a major event, they all say the exact same headline? You know, like when you see a video of 50 different news channels and they're all speaking in sync. Come on, man. Open your eyes, right? Tune that shit out. Focus on your calories. Focus on your lift. Focus on what really fucking matters. So I think that's all I gotta fucking say. Home, food, 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 food. Food right here. Got a fucking almond joy I got at the gas station yesterday. I love these. Just as a treat. Just as a fucking Joe Swanson treat. So I think that's all I got. Cardio in the morning. I know you're not doing it. I'm gonna do with that information what you will. So I'll see you next time.